Hello, everyone, and welcome to this exciting session today. Happy New Year, Happy New Month, Happy New Day, if there is anything like that. So today, I'm so elated. I don't know about you, but I'm so excited about today's session and the fact that I am no longer doing this in 2021. This is 2022, and Thummim is coming up with a new levels of this whole thing. And of course, we'll be having a grandmaster. Yeah, that's what I call him, grandmaster of social media. We'll be having him today with us. So get ready, bombard him with your questions. That's the only thing we are asking of. Let the comment section be hot with your questions for him. I'm not gonna give you the bio now. I just want you to come in. Welcome to the show. And once again, I'm Dr. Ifnaya Stellamaris Ayao, most popularly called Dr. STM. We are not two, I'm the only one. And today we are here on behalf of the whole person's healthcare professionals. To me, is wanting everyone to know about this thing today. Are you a personal brand or an organizational brand? This is essentially for you. You cannot talk about this current generation without talking about social media. It's like okay, I don't want to call it an abomination, but you'll be making a um, very huge mistake that we can't even pardon, non-pardonable mistake if you're just not considering social media as a brand. Possibly for your personal needs, you may be thinking, what do I need it for? But you cannot have it as an organization and just ignore social media. Social media is, of course, important to individuals and organizations, and that is what we are dwelling on today, particularly for healthcare professionals. So, we are going to be having, again, like I mentioned before, a grandmaster of social media. He's Dr. Ronald Ikechi. Dr. Ronald, pardon me, I went to baptize him right now. He's Dr. Ronald Kelechi Ipe, a speaker, a writer, an author, and a storyteller. So I assume he should be telling us a very engaging story today. He has worked as a physician and as a healthcare manager within the Nigerian health sector, including the health insurance industry. So I'm sure he will be giving us different views from clinical, from insurance, and the rest. And he has a master's. Okay, first of all, he earned his bachelor's degree, that's MBBS degree from Madonna University, Nigeria. And he has a master's in clinical anatomy from University of Port Harcourt and is currently taking a second master degree in health informatics. He's a published author and writes occasionally for some online blogs. And he has a weekly session on Twitter, Tales of Dr. Ron, where he aims to educate on various health issues through storytelling. And he has participated in leading advocacy efforts for family planning on social media, which includes Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram in partnership with DevComs and NURHI. He has coordinated health campaigns on maternal and child health issues on social media platforms, where over 100,000 have been educated on malaria, cervical cancer, and pregnancy related issues. He currently runs the MRI Medic Consulting, a healthcare consulting firm focused on helping health brands tell their stories effectively and also connect job seekers in the healthcare space with jobs and support resources through the firm. Now you can see why I called him a grandmaster. Someone who is running all these campaigns, doing all that, writing, telling stories, using the social media many of us are neglecting as a tool. And I am getting on stage right now, Dr. Ronald Kelechi Ipe. Yeah.
Hello.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the stage, Dr. Ron.
Thank you, STM. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And we are so excited, so pleased to have you here today.
Thank
Um,
you.
I'm sure your guests are all smiling teeth to teeth on having your face here. Yeah, we are happy about that. And in case you're watching this and you've not told your neighbor, your colleague to come and join in here, that is a big mistake. So, shortly before we get really into the business, I'm going to put a drop down of about 2 minutes or so, a countdown video. And within that period, only one thing is what we are requesting of you. Click the share button there, copy the link, and send it out. Send it to your WhatsApp status, your WhatsApp broadcast, Telegram, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. Make the noise. We are live. Let all healthcare professionals come here to learn. to see and to understand what they need to know. Once more, if you're not using social media today, you're making a mistake. But before then, Dr. Ron, please, just an opening remark, what you have to tell us before we get really into the business after the short break.
Well, I'm excited to be here. Thank you for the introduction, and I really can't wait to share my small wealth of knowledge and experience on social media with you guys out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ron. And shortly, once we come back after the short break, I'll all enlighten you all on Thummim NG and once more give you a shorter version bio of Dr. Ron. So for the latecomers, we'll give them some benefits of joining in and knowing whom they are speaking with today. So
Yeah.
until then, see you in the next 2 minutes plus. Okay, I assume we are still sharing the links. So I'm going to play this again for another 2 minutes because I want people here. We've had more people coming in, but make the noise, share the link, copy and share the link to all platforms. I'm not giving you that room today not to share the link. So everyone share the link and come back another 2 minutes.
All right.
All right, welcome back, everyone. And I just hope you're gonna enjoy this. Sit still, get your bottle of water, get an apple, and we are okay with that. So today we have Dr. Ron. I commonly call him Dr. Ron, so you hear me often say Dr. Ron here and there. But we have Dr. Ronald Kelechi Ipe in the studio. And Dr. Ronald is a storyteller. I don't know why I started with that storytelling because I've made up my mind that Dr. Ron is going to tell us a story today. He's a writer, he's an author, of course, he's a medical doctor. That's why we've been using the word Dr. Ron, Dr. Ron. And yes, he is a social media grandmaster and he's going to be showing us all those things today. I'm just adding him now. See him all smiles there. Um, Dr. Ron, before you
Yes,
give us
please.
a start for today, can you select just choose any letter from the alphabet? You have to pick from there. You want to pick
K.
K. Okay. Which country starts with K?
You started.
I've
Uh,
started.
Kenya.
Oh, he got that right. Animal that starts with K.
Hmm. Anima. That does not
Spell
come
it,
very
please.
quickly.
Spell it, please. Spell it, please. It's not coming. So maybe
Koala.
you're.
Koala bear.
Why did he
Koala.
get it?
Yeah.
Okay. A female name that starts with K.
Mm,
Hmm.
Kylie.
Is this all the things you're getting from social media too? Okay.
Maybe.
Business brand that starts with K.
KFC.
Oh, this not fair. I was gonna ask about a celebrity that starts with K, but you've mentioned Kylie, and Kylie Jenner already is already there.
Yeah.
Food, food that starts with K. I'm going to get you today.
Food. I'm not a food person though. Food. What
Mm.
of drink? Kunu. Kunu drink.
Kunu.
Let me look for food while I'm looking for the food.
Okay, we've had enough of it today. So I'm just trying to drill Dr. K and Dr. Ron around to just see what he has for us today. And if you missed the time I mentioned about Dr. Ron is a speaker, a writer, an author, a storyteller, and he's a graduate of the great Madonna University in Nigeria, and he has a master's in clinical anatomy from University of Port Harcourt. And currently doing his second master's in health informatics right now. And he has participated in so many leading advocacies for different causes on family planning, cervical cancer, malaria, all of them using social media. So today, we are going to peruse, if he's in school, then we'll say we'll percuss someone to
Serious
percuss out all the
percussion.
information he has on social media. So please, Dr. Ron, just before we start, what
Yeah.
exactly is social media?
Well, basically, social media is just a word for all the forms of different technologies that enable people to create information, share ideas through virtual communities, because the world now, we're now in the digital age, so we live in a virtual world. So that's what social media is all about, really. So things like Facebook, things like Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, they are all forms of social media.
Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn.
There are
Okay,
plenty.
so
Yes.
is WhatsApp and Telegram, are they social media
They are
platforms?
also yes, they are also social media platforms
They're
because they
also
also
social media
facilitate
platforms.
information sharing. Yeah.
Now, do you think that geographical location actually affects what platform works for different groups?
I don't think so, except maybe for places like maybe China, where they are very restricted. They have their own, though they have their own social media platforms, but it's not like it's mainstream per se
Okay.
for every other person, right? So I think
Yeah.
like China has their own version of WhatsApp, their own version of Twitter, and all of that. But generally, as long as you have internet access and a smartphone, then you're good to go.
So, is it right to say that any form of a platform that offers room for online community can be considered as a social media platform?
Yes,
So, we can
absolutely.
consider Reddit, Nairaland,
They
if
are
I can
all
remember
forms
the
of
rest,
social media. Yeah,
social media
Reddit,
platform.
Quora, Nairaland. There are
Aha.
plenty. There are a lot
Okay, okay, because the common things, what people usually talk about is the common one: Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn,
because they are the
Twitter.
most popular ones.
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
but we can still get in one or two from there. Now, in
Definitely.
the sphere of healthcare profession,
Yeah.
what platforms do you think are more beneficial? I
Well,
don't know if
again,
more beneficial is the actual thing, but what platforms are more needed for healthcare professionals?
I think all the platforms are relevant, right? Because every healthcare professional really you might tend to want to choose where your interest lies or which platform you feel more comfortable working with and using with, right? So I'm more comfortable on Twitter. I'm more a bit proficient on Twitter, so that's where most people find me most of the time. You see some people, they are strictly okay, I just want to keep it professional. You find them on LinkedIn. You see people on Quora, you see people on Reddit. So it really depends on what you're looking for, the persons you're trying to reach out to, and what value you think you can push out to those persons. Then you decide whatever platform you want to be on. But definitely, all the platforms, they actually have their one or two benefits. Yeah,
Well, I think I can actually relate with the part where you say all the platforms, because as long as you're alive, at some point you have one or two health needs. And once there are people there, there's someone who needs something.
exactly. Because
So,
the
but
truth
that
is,
brings, okay,
people are searching for information left, right, and center, especially
okay.
healthcare. So, and somehow, they will still be looking for all this information on these different platforms too. So, they all are relevant.
So my curiosity is this now. When it comes to healthcare brands, I can understand that some are positioned as personal brands and
Yeah,
others as organizational brands. So
yeah,
let's start, because I felt the answer you gave before was for personal brand. It starts with the person choosing his or her vibe, where the person is comfortable with, and where they are going to. So assuming I'm coming into this fair now as an organization, of course, we understand that humans are drivers of organizations, but
yes,
we are coming with the face of I am a
corporate,
hospital, a
corporate focus.
pharmacy. I'm just trying to make it so layman so that even if they don't understand what we mean by organizational brand, they can imagine it now.
Yeah,
NGOs and the rest. So this time, I am not going with my name as Dr. STM. Neither are you going with your name as Dr. Ron. You're
Ronald.
going
Yeah.
with a brand, an organizational brand. So in that case, is there a form of platform likelihood for all these groups? Like they should be here more, they may not be here, and the rest. How do they select? That's just what I needed to know.
So again, it depends, right, on your strengths
Okay.
and your weaknesses, right? So let's say, for instance, a pharmacy wants to get online as a brand. So now, because you take a lot of things into consideration before you go on social media, you look at the content, you look at the platform. For example, now Instagram, if you're going to be on Instagram, you know that it's a picture based platform, so that means you're going to be doing a lot of visuals, really high quality pictures, high quality flyers, passing out informations that are short and precise to the point. So that means you're going to be doing a lot of designing. So you want to ask yourself, do I have the capacity, or can I really do this? If you're going to be on Twitter, maybe on Facebook or Reddit or co, you know you have to be doing a lot of text based content. So are you
Yeah.
going to be able to put up the content, and how often do you want to do that? So those are some of the things that help you decide which platforms you want to reach out to. Then again, you also want to look at your target markets. Who are you trying to reach out to? By the time you define those group, then you now know where to find them. Are they on Facebook? Are they on Instagram? Are they on LinkedIn? Where are they? So, but you need to find out who is my target market first of all. Then before you now, I think that's also one of the key factors you consider before picking a platform. to go and say, okay, this is where we want to be. And again, you don't have to be on just one platform. You could be on one or two platforms or three, depending on your capacity and all of that.
So apparently, what works for personal brand works for organizational
Definitely,
brands, but they
definitely.
must have to add an extra layer of their target audience.
Exactly, very key. Even as on a personal level, if I'm trying to build a brand, I also have to find out who is my market, who am I trying to reach out to. That also influences where I'm going to settle down.
Okay, now let me give a situational case here.
Yeah,
When it comes to urban societies, there are different cadre of hospitals.
yeah,
Of course, we have the government hospitals, the private. And even within that private, when we try to group them according to their users based on socioeconomic status, we know
yeah,
that there are hospitals who tend to attend to the elites
yeah.
than others who tend to attend to um, maybe
Middle
middle or
class.
lower social economic class. So
Yeah,
if this hospital, for these three, I'm using three classes now, the
yeah.
lower, the middle, and the
And the
upper.
top. Yeah.
And I am coming in there as the face of the organization. What would you advise the person to come in? Where would you advise which of the platforms would you advise them to maximize and utilize for their own growth?
Is it the top tier or the middle or the lower?
For each of them, for example, now.
So again, right, number one, so it's good to also define what you're doing on social media, right? For example, I might just be out to educate the people, right? I just want to share valuable, credible information online. That is what I want to do. By the time I define that, then that means anybody can actually consume the content that I am sending out, whether the person is on the low cadre, the middle cadre, or the top tier persons. So, for example, I want to educate people on things like diarrhea, talk about sexual health, talk about reproductive health, digestive health. So these are common issues that we need to discuss on a daily that everybody can actually benefit from. So, and again, it now depends on how do you want to push this content? Is it going to be visuals? Do you want to do text? Do you want to do blog posts? Do you want to do articles and all of that? So by the time you define these ones, if you say, okay, I want to be doing flyers with short write-ups and a picture to go by the side, then Instagram should be your platform. If you want to be doing a blog post, then a blog site or a website should be ideal for you. Then, if you want to do videos, short videos, and all of that, then YouTube is actually a very good place to be when you're doing short videos and all of that. So it depends on the kind of information you want to pass, the target audience. So, but generally, health information really is something that is consumed by everybody. So I don't think there is any strata to health information, but so everybody gets to benefit from that too. So I think it goes right. So if you have the capability to, okay, you want to be shooting videos, you have the finances to shoot high quality videos, then YouTube is your channel. If you don't have that, you could settle for Instagram, do a flyer with poster, put a small caption and all that. Or you can just do a blog post and post on your website and direct users to go and read on your site. So those are some of the dynamics. I can hear you. Okay.
Sorry, great. So you mentioned something on WhatsApp, on website. I'm about saying WhatsApp now on website,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna ask you a question on that. But before then, I can see your fans up here, and I'm gonna put up their comments.
These are my fans.
Victor, oh, yes. Now they say Victor says, "Well done, Doctor Ibe."
Thank you,
And you
Victor.
have I can't pronounce the name. I don't want to baptize someone's name.
I call him
Honor
Ayo.
Walker.
Ayo.
Okay, Ayo. I think Ayo for sure is safer. It said very key on what you're discussing. And then Chinanyem says, hi, Dr. Ite. And Health
Hello,
Vibes
Chi.
with Moshomola can't wait to delve deeper into this. She actually said he or she, I don't know, sent it earlier. when we are introducing the whole thing. So if you're
Oh,
just joining
really?
into the show, you're welcome. Today we are discussing on effective use of social media for healthcare professionals and organizations. And we had to get the grandmaster of social media. Yes, he's a grandmaster because he's been doing these things. He has run campaigns, done several advocacies using several platforms for different, even for different organizations and even for his own personal brand. And he has gone ahead to even create a course to let us come and learn on how to use social media effectively. You see that word effective is very important because some of us are just existing there and we are not actually harnessing what we can harness from there.
Yeah,
So
true.
when he was talking, he mentioned something, Ron, he mentioned something on websites.
Yeah.
Now, I already know, I don't think I can categorize website as a social media platform. So,
Okay.
but because even though it gives room for online community, but I don't know, I won't call it a social media platform entirely. But
Yeah.
assuming now a brand has adopted and gone through all those platforms, creating content consistently on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, and the rest, why should that person take an extra sweat to go and create a website, regardless of presence in all these places?
Well, the truth is, the your website or a website is tells me about you in detail, right? What you do, the services you're offering, the times you're open for business, the cost of your services, who is working with you, your team, and all of that. And those are not the things you might necessarily see on social media platforms because they're a bit short and direct. That's why I see some people, for example, I open my Twitter bio, you see them, they just put the link to their website because once you come to someone's bio, oh, this person posts interesting content or this company posts interesting content. Who are these guys? The next thing they want to do is they want to check out your website. So even if you're present on all these social media platforms, it's still very important for you to have a website where people now eventually land to find out more about you. So as you're creating social media profiles, you should also be thinking of having your website. In fact, they should run concurrently, side by side. Yes.
I'm certain you're still getting more of your fans there, but I won't show you their comments now until we advance a little. And if you're in this show now, this is brought to you by Thummim NG, an online learning platform owned by Intelligent Healthcare Solutions. At Thummim NG, what we do there is basically learning. You can come in as a teacher, you can come in as a student, but the most important thing is to come and create courses or to grab knowledge. And the person we have today is Grandmaster of Social Media. It's my nickname for him. Oh. And he has a course, yeah. He has two courses on social media, using it effectively as a healthcare professional or as a healthcare organization. And this is what we are actually discussing here today. As time goes on, we'll get to go in depth about his course. And he just talked about something on why you still need to consider websites, even though you have the social media platforms. Now, within these social media platforms, even before the advent of social media, we already know that healthcare industry is a peculiar industry with so many do's and don'ts and the rest. So I had prepared this question, but someone else has even brought it up. Are there
Yeah.
any do's and don'ts on social media for healthcare professionals?
There are actually a lot of do's and don'ts. And interestingly, I think we produced a document for that. Maybe later, I don't know if you still have it. I'll share the link. Maybe we can share with them later. So,
We.
right on the hub, actually, don't worry, later we'll talk about this one.
So,
So, we
okay.
actually have a book for do's and don'ts of social media for healthcare professionals. So, but some of the key do's is number one, you have to stay professional, right? So, sorry, just a minute. Yeah, you have
Okay.
to stay professional on the platforms. So you can't come and be throwing insults online. You don't come to abuse people online. You don't come to throw jabs online and all of that because looking at your profile and looking at the handle, it doesn't really tally well, right? That's number one. Then number two, if you're going to be sharing health information, make sure it's credible health information. Make sure it's authentic health information that you're sharing, because you don't know who is reading, you don't know who is consuming, and a lot of people might not double check or fact check before they run with it. And once they see doctor on your profile, that's, so okay, I can trust this person, because a lot of people are trusting you that this is a doctor, so I'm producing credible information. You have to make sure is authentic. Then if you're sharing stories, maybe relating to work, or you're trying to paint scenarios and all that, you make sure you leave out patient identifiers. You don't want people to be able to know who you're talking about. Imagine you coming to the hospital today, then in the evening you log in on Twitter, and you see your doctor talking about you and all that, then it doesn't really make sense at all. So you have to make sure patient identifiers are out and all of that. Then even if you're going to do that, maybe you should get consent and all of that. But personally, I try to just leave out all forms of identification, right? Then those are some of the don'ts, or sorry, is it do's? I don't know, I'm just mixing it up anyway. So those are some
Yeah.
of the key, very important things every healthcare professional should really consider when they are usually coming online, maybe to do some form of advocacy or campaigns or whatever. Your credibility is at stake, so you really have to protect that. And the truth is, they say the internet never forgets. Once you post, it really goes very, very far, and you don't know who is actually looking and all of that. Then some people will also tell you don't post when you're tired, right? So you're tired, you're not thinking clearly, you just type and you press post. Most times, before you even delete, somebody has seen it or retweeted or something, taking a screenshot or something like that. So when you're tired, please don't tweet or do any post or post anything and all that. So those are some of the basic do's and don'ts that apply to healthcare professionals. I'll look for that document, then I'll share with you. Maybe we can get that across to them.
Okay,
Yep.
that's fine. And I'm so glad on how you actually made it quite basic for anyone to understand. So apparently, like we always say, sharing the health story isn't the problem. The problem is making sure you didn't target to who you are sharing about.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
give a case study, give a description, but let it be for educational purposes.
Exactly.
A recent issue just came up. I'm not
Yeah.
sure it's up to a month,
Yeah.
where a doctor was given a suspension for some months on the
Okay.
case of adverts, or you know what I'm talking about. I don't want to
Yes.
mention the name.
I know. I
So
know.
when
I'm
it comes
familiar
to
with the
social
case.
media, yeah, when it comes to social media, at what point is a healthcare professional crossing that boundary of adverts or marketing? Now, it's not just about the healthcare professional, also the healthcare brands. For example, a hospital coming to say we are the best in this and all this. So, at what point are we crossing that boundary?
MDCN will tell you, don't say you are the best though. don't don't claim you are the best. So most times you leave all those titles out of the picture. And again, for us in Nigeria here, our own is a peculiar, adverts are not allowed, especially in the doctor areas. I don't know how it applies to maybe pharmacy or nursing and all of that. So, but the truth is, when it comes to marketing, these days there are very innovative ways of actually saying you are doing marketing in quotes, right? For example, now I do a flyer, maybe on World Malaria Day, right? Maybe do a thread poster. Then at the end of the kidney, I have my logo down there and I push it out. Everybody automatically knows where this is coming from.
No, from yeah.
Exactly. So without me actually shouting, I'm here, they actually know where it is coming from, right? Or maybe I do a collaboration, run a health outreach somewhere. you shall see logo down there, automatically know where who is sponsoring and who is doing all that. And some people now go ahead to actually go and check out these organizations. Who are they? What are they even doing? What are they about? And all of that. So it's a way of actually selling yourself, right? So through collaborations, through partnerships, through sponsorships, through creating value, credible health information, then it's selling yourself. Marketing is like I'm selling myself. So I don't have to come and say I'm really doing marketing. So there are more ingenious ways of actually pushing your message out there to tell them that look at me, oh, I'm here, oh, right? So they will tell
Okay.
you in social media, say create value, send value, then people will come looking for you. It's very
Yeah.
simple. Yeah.
Okay. We have some more questions here. Hi, if you're watching this thing right now and you have any question, any suggestion or concern, drop it in the comment section. That we are definitely going to address it. Now, I just want to bring in something here. Dr. Ron runs, Dr. Ronald runs, so that you understand it. So Dr. Ronald runs a consulting firm that helps health brands tell their stories effectively. And he has an online course too that is teaching basically on effective use on social media. So right now, Dr. Ron,
Yeah.
can you just let us know how has that online course helped you to tell your story effectively to your students about why they need to use social media, how they should use it effectively, and what are the advantages from social media? So that's your experience of creating a course and telling the story. How has it helped?
Well, the truth is that there are actually a lot of benefits that come with being on social media. So, number one, you have to find out why am I actually going here in the first place, right? So, for
Okay.
example, through social media, you can become, how will I put it? If you're able to create a niche for yourself, people get to see you as an expert in that area because this is basically what you do all the time, right? So you look at people like Aproko now, we all know him for health education. Through very creative and funny ways, he's able to pass the messages
The
across.
information, yeah.
Exactly. So anybody looking for anything now, the first person they will look for now is Aproko because he's able to do that. And honestly, then the money part will also come from that because he's not going to do it for free and all of that. So number one, you get the recognition, you're able to pass your message. So some people basically they just want to share information online, and all these ones usually come as a side effect of wanting to pass information out there across to people, right? So you
Okay.
become an expert because you're constantly sharing information, you're constantly updating yourself. But most times when I do stories, people come back to me, start asking me questions in my DM, looking for consultations or referrals or clarifications and all of that. So you're able to impact lives too, also doing that by the side, right? Then if you're in for it for the money, yes, there is money to be made actually on social media, but you have to create value first before the money comes into your pocket.
Okay, now, the question I asked, and I love the way you handled it, is about if course creating has even helped you to
Yes.
tell the story more. And you're like, yes. It also positioned you more as an expert. It built your authority as an expert when it comes to social media. No wonder I'm calling you grandmaster of social media. And of course, it brought you the money and the rest. So, from your experience building, creating a course and selling it here on Thummim NG, would you advise anyone around you, a professional around you that has good wealth of knowledge, to make efforts in creating that course?
Yeah, I would definitely advise folks to do that, because when I was even doing the first course, uh, at the point I was like, can I really do this? But then when you now sit down and start thinking, you actually see, there's actually a lot of information you can really share from your experience, what you've done, what you've learned, how it's been, and all of that. So I advise everybody to, if you can, if you think you have information, then come and share your information with people. Yeah.
Okay, there's something interesting I would like to ask, but Let me keep it by the side before I'll ask it after this one. Now, was it so challenging creating a course? Was it easy on a scale of 0 to 10? Okay, you've created one course and you're now on the level of creating another. So during the first one, because I also have a course and I know that it's not the ease I created the first one. It's not the ease I created the current one I created that first one with. So let's
Yeah.
start with the first one. On a scale of 0 to 10, how difficult was it?
Well, I'll put it at maybe like eight, right? Because number one, that was the first time that I was doing that, right? So I now have to start thinking about layouts, uh, how are the topics going to flow, which one should come before which one, and all of that. Then by the time you finish doing the content, you now have to move to preparing the PowerPoint presentations. Then after that, you
Yeah.
now have to start doing the voicing and all of that. So exactly, that's even the technical. I think I did that like 1,000 times before I got it right.
Ah,
So exactly, I kept on doing deleting, and you have to look for somewhere that is quiet, maybe when people are sleeping and all of that. So it was a bit technical, but somehow I got the hang of it, right? So then this second one I think is actually much easier. So with each successive ones, then it becomes a walk in the park, really. So
so apparently, course creating, creating a course helped you to position yourself better as an expert and then to tell more stories effectively to people who
sure,
bought the course.
sure,
But at the same
sure.
time, you feel that if you've had someone to walk you through the processes, that you would have had a better experience,
Yeah,
right?
yes, even the Tumin guys, they actually helped me a lot, really, because I
Yeah.
know they
I,
kept sending me a
I know
lot of
when we were doing it
resources.
out on that. Mhm.
I think Damola sent me a lot of recordings, resources, sent somebody to help
Okay.
me and all of that. So it was actually very helpful. I think it would have been
I,
more difficult if I didn't have the help I
any
had.
yeah,
Exactly.
okay, that's interesting. And now, it's why I had to open up this chapter now is many people, we are here talking about Facebook, Instagram and the rest, and people do not also understand that they can share value via their courses, and you can even use that social media platform to also sell the courses. The
Yeah.
interesting question I was to ask you was, what were the motivating factors when you wanted to create a course? Is it just to tell story, or because of the also the money that comes in as a side hustle?
Well,
So that was the other part I needed to ask.
number one, I just wanted to because no, I like challenges, Sha. I
Okay.
think Damola was the one that mentioned it to me. Look, come and do something. We've been seeing you out there. Come and do something. I'm like, can I really do this? Say yes, yes, you can do it. So that was how I got into that. And I think the money part was the side effect, and I'm enjoying it. I will not lie. Yeah,
Okay, that's fine. So apparently, social media positions us as an expert in a niche we choose, and it also gives us a room for side hustle. Now,
return
I'm going
on
to be
investment.
drawing you. We have several things here. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's start with the compliments. Yes, so Grandmaster, he's also a mentor extraordinary, and that's from Chinenyem Ovonga. And then Ezenwokoma is saying, nice one, Dr. Ron. Okay, you see, people are enjoying the show here, and we have this person saying, great work, Doc. So they're obviously enjoying the information you have.
Thank you.
I think we'll now start have to bring it in the questions one by one. Now, this particular question, even though you've addressed it in some form in terms of saying it's based on vibe or what you think you want to do and where you want, but this person is asking, for a healthcare professional, which platform do you think is a must have? So even if you are not vibing there, that you should be there present.
So for the must have, I think I'll put LinkedIn
Okay.
there. So I think everybody, irrespective of where you are, and for the fact that a healthcare professional, you should have a LinkedIn profile, and not just anyhow LinkedIn profile, well detailed, well written LinkedIn profile, right?
Okay.
Because these days, especially those who are looking to grow in their career, move up the ladder and all of that, most recruiters these days, they will just type in keywords and pull up people from LinkedIn and all of that. So if you position yourself well on LinkedIn, then there are chances that you might get where you're looking for. And again, another benefit is that social media has really reduced some of the barriers to entry, meaning you can actually reach out to HRs, CEOs of companies to say, look at me, this is what I can do, and all of that. I'm looking for work and all of that. So a LinkedIn profile is a must have for every health professional. Then now, depending on what you want to do, if you want to be active on social media, you can decide to be on YouTube if you're good at doing videos and all of that. You can decide to be on Instagram if you want to be doing picture based, maybe health advocacy, health communications, and all of that. But LinkedIn is number one that every healthcare professional should have.
Okay, I
Yeah.
think that's a well detailed answer. And
Exactly.
health vibes,
Because
health.
again, sorry to
Okay,
cut you
okay,
short, it's not everybody that really
sorry.
wants to do advocacy or communication or teaching or coaching.
Absolutely, yeah.
Some people just want to be
Um,
there. I just want to come and read and
to be
jump out.
present and
Exactly,
yes.
exactly. So yeah.
Okay. Now this person is saying, does doing advocacy now need registration?
No,
Like before you can advocate, I don't. Well, Grandmaster, we are here to listen.
Advocacy does not need any form of registration, at least not that I'm aware of at this point in time, really.
Okay.
So, exactly, just make sure whatever campaign you're doing, it's legit, it's credible. You know the people who are running the campaign, because again, another thing people make mistake is doing wrong campaigns for the wrong people and all of that. So you have to look at your credibility too and all of that. So all of those matters. So it's just like me going to do a political campaign or advocacy. That's not me. That's not what I'm known for. So even though the money is big, I won't go there because it's not my area. I don't want to get involved. And so these are some of the things you look at too. So yeah.
Okay, so that answers that of advocacy needing registration, and we still have some other questions. But until there, if you're here, thank you and welcome for joining us in. This is brought to you by Thummim NG, an online learning platform. And you heard when I asked Dr. Ron about his experience creating a course. That was quite intentional because that has positioned him as an expert in whatever he is doing. And you too can also create a course. Really, if you have even any knowledge. Accounting. You can see his social media. And Tumim NG has about over 12,000 healthcare professionals in our community. So we have people there coming to learn, perusing different courses. You can teach data analytics, you can teach anatomy, physiology, accounting, team management, project management. I'm just giving you ideas. So whatever information you have, you can actually teach it, position yourself as an expert like Dr. Ron did, and of course, make extra income. And the beautiful thing, that's why we also consider that the beautiful thing about having to host your course with Sumim NGs, you get one-on-one help while you're creating. Like even if you're a
Yeah.
novice,
Very
even if
invaluable.
you're a novice, you get follow-up, you get assistance, one-on-one coaching and all those things on how to be successful as a creator. And also, Sumim NG would definitely help you with your marketing. So I don't think it's no, it's not about thinking. I know it's not a bad deal. I'm not thinking this. So I know it's not a bad deal. So come in and learn, come in and teach. Don't hold your knowledge in this world before you leave. Teach, spread out your hands and let people see you for what you have. So we still have other questions here. Do you need registration to go online as a medical practitioner? What registration? I'm thinking of that too. Like I'm also almost answering the question, but
No, you
over to
don't.
you.
There is no need for any registration as anything. So, do I know there are actually, I think some organizations that I know there is this, though they're foreign based anyway.
Okay.
Association of Doctors on Social Media. There's social media doctors. these are really abroad-based organizations that are trying to like harness, like form a sensible community of physicians who are actually on social media and all of that. But back here in Niger, I'm not aware of anyone at the moment.
Okay, so if I might add to that question, while I'm not sure of what registration exactly the person is asking for, but of course, if you're entering in as a business, you're not exactly registering to use social media.
No, it's open
You
to
just have to
everybody.
register your business. That's I don't think that one is related to social media. So if you're still here, health vibes, please just add a clarity extract to this your question. Maybe we can attend to it again to understand exactly the question you were asking on. Then, Dr. Ron, you have one question here. Interesting. That's how I'm introducing the question this way. Genevieve Obona said, do you have a clue on how to tackle trolls on social media or to trace quacks disseminating wrong information on social media? So this question is asking for two audience, those who troll people and those who pass wrong information, quackery. Do you have a clue on how we can handle them?
So for the first group, what I generally do is just ignore, really, because some people, they just, their work is just to come out, bath in the morning, eat food, then pick their phone and sit down, look for where to cause problems. So I just deliberately ignore those ones. The ones I can block, I block them. So I move on. Right. So that's just the only way I know you can handle the first group of people. Then for the second group, the quacks, this one is very is a big problem really, and it's not just here; it's actually worldwide. Because the truth is, anybody can come out to say, "I'm a doctor, I'm a nurse, I'm this." So how do you now verify who is who and all of that? So that's why they will always tell you, please double check whatever information you're getting from social media and all of
Yeah.
that. Yes, before you run with it, right? So except for the few ones that you actually know, okay, these people they're actually medical doctors or healthcare practitioners, and hey, okay, we can trust them to an extent. I think that's why some of those these US, UK associations are now trying to do like, okay, we have this association of doctors on social media. These are our members. So when you check, you see this person's name on the list and you see he's posting health information, you can comfortably relax. Oh, okay, this person is actually a doctor or healthcare worker. But down here, I would just say, please double check whatever information, unless you know the person on a personal basis. And you can
Basis.
always ask your personal doctor, look, this is what I read online. Does this fly? Is it true? Does it work, before you take the information and all? So I think maybe we can go a step further to replicate what the other healthcare workers are doing outside, forming small associations so that like you know yourselves and know who is credible, and you can check up people and make sure they are who they think or who they say they are on
They
social
are,
media.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's a great idea too because the level of misinformation as it
it's high.
currently now is terrible.
It's high.
It's terrible, yeah. So
It's high.
we've been discussing mainly on the strengths of social media. We've
Yeah,
got to know different things, and then I'm certain whatever has a strength has its own weakness. So what do you
yeah,
think is the weaknesses that we have to look at? Because to me, just like when you apply those things on a personal note, knowing your strengths and weaknesses is not just for you to come and get yourself being clustered. Oh, I have this weakness. It's more like one knowing that weakness and working on it and how to accommodate that weakness. So when
yeah.
it comes to social media, we as the healthcare professionals using social media, what are the possible weaknesses that we have to look out for and then think of how to contain it?
So number one, on the for looking from a personal angle, some people might become addicted to social media, right? So some it's even bad up to the point that it sort of interferes with their work. You see people, they are at work, maybe they are consulting or seeing a patient. They're always peeping in, peeping out, checking Twitter, checking Instagram, what's the latest post, Insta blog, and all of that. So that's really one of the downsides to social media, getting so addicted to it. So most times I advise you want to pick a time, right? Or a time frame or part of the day when you say this is actually for social media, maybe after work and all of that. Because professionally it doesn't even look nice. You're consulting with the patient and you're checking Twitter or you're checking Instagram for updates and all of that, right? Then secondly, it could also be a slippery slope for healthcare workers, truly, because the way you engage as a healthcare professional on social media is a bit different if you are engaging as any other person, right? Because you also have to keep in mind the four cardinal ethical principles in healthcare: autonomy, no maleficence, justice, and beneficent. You always have to keep that in mind. So a lot of people are very new to social media. So these are some of the things they need to learn before they get on social media. Then another thing, in the for looking at the organization part, so one of the downside is a lot of organizations, especially the healthcare ones, they really don't have any strong what do you call it now, social media policies guiding what they are doing online. So basically anyone comes, does what they want, post what they want, and there is really no accountability. You see people sharing information that they shouldn't be sharing online, and nothing happens with them. Anybody can access the company's social media account and post whatever they want and all of that. So a lot of companies these days are advised you should have a social media policy, a strong one. Somebody should be designated to handle social media accounts on behalf of the company, right? Then if you're posting anything on social media, you should always probably leave a disclaimer in case people know where you work and all of that. For example, I think last week I was on a space on Twitter where a Twitter staff was actually hosting a space. And she made it loud and clear that this space is hosting is on her own level. It's not based on the work she does with Twitter and all of that. So we know from the get go that it's a disclaimer. So she's as a person herself, not now as maybe a top staff of Twitter or whatever. So those policies should be on ground and they should be enforced, really, right? So, and for I think I'll still share this document. So we still mention some of the downfalls of social media earlier on. Some people are very eager to share information. Maybe you come across one interesting case in the hospital and you're quick to, you need to sit down, reevaluate. Is this worth sharing? Must I really post this information? What value am I getting or whatever? So those are some of the things healthcare workers need to understand. You should have to get a grip on yourself before you now want to be sharing information up and down, both images, hospital gossip, and sort of thing. Then I think another downside too, especially those promoting products too, they don't tell us disclaimers. So if you're endorsing a product, you should also let us know the disclaimer there so that we know where you're coming from. So I think these are some of the little downsides to using social media. So usually I advise every healthcare worker coming online to be very careful and probably seek guidance from people who have been there so that they don't run into troubles online.
I actually got so many interesting things from what you said, and I think you, as one of the biggest pioneers of social media in healthcare industry, I actually think you have a work to do when it comes to social media policy for organizations. Because yes, Many organizations do not know about that. In fact,
Yeah.
I think I had shared that story with you where, because of my business, they want you to do this. They just call you, we want to be online and we want to have an online presence. Please do this for me. And based on my knowledge, I now guided them to, why do you want to be online? So
Online.
I
Yeah.
guided them to getting their reason. At least it will now guide their presence, their activities within that internet sphere. But then
Yeah.
the other question now is, when you keep championing this and saying, even when you're online as an organization, you need to know these do's and don'ts and the rest. So you have a work on that. And while we are thinking of that, there was something else that came to my mind. It's essential, really, for healthcare professionals. We are currently in a stage where you just be scrolling through your phone, trying to attend to messages and tweets and the rest, and boom, you open a message and someone just sends you, Doc, I just saw this on my body. This is what should I do? So people are just coming up for emergency consultation. And I know it's not easy on healthcare professionals to meander and navigate around these things for several reasons. One, you can think about, you're not paying me my consultation fee. And then on the other side, how safe is the person's license? So before we even talk of that one of consultation fee and navigating through it, when it comes to consulting online, at what point are we drawing the boundary? When should we and when shouldn't we? Because at some point, for some people, eventually you've paid the person pays the consultation fee and you go on and consult probably on WhatsApp or somehow. But we know that if it's in the hospital system, you definitely have to document what you're consulting.
Yeah.
But generally, it maybe if I have a one-on-one with you on Zoom or even there WhatsApp, is it enough documents with that chart? Is there enough document to come in as a legal document if there is a case like that? So this, I think, this is a very sensitive question when it comes to consultation.
Yeah. So for me, I've drawn the line. Typically, I don't consult on social media, right? So most times I make it clear, even people who come to my DM, we read this story and I think I can relate. I have this condition. I say, please, I don't consult on social media. It's either you go to the hospital to see the doctor, or probably you can come to my own hospital to see me so that we'll have a talk. Then, if you're going to consult online, I usually say again, you have to go through proper telemedicine channels, right? So typically I use Doctora, then at some point I also use Wellvis once in a while. So you're able to document what encounter you're having with the person, your conversation, if they shared any tests with you and all of that. You can always save those things and come back to them later in case of issues or any problems. So that's how I navigate some of these channels, because you never can tell who we now said, but you said, and if for some reason the chat has been deleted or phone crashed or something. So is their word against yours. So to be on the safe side, it's either you come to the hospital or I use a proper telemedicine platform where you can document your encounter and all of those because of tomorrow.
So apparently you're telling us that, yeah, it's at your discretion to choose whether to consult or not. But
To
if
be
you
on
are
the
to
safe side.
consult, yeah, if you're
Yes.
to consult, best practice is to use a telemedicine platform for your
Platform, exactly.
documentation. Just like
Exactly.
physically, if you must consult, get to a hospital and document.
Exactly.
This is important to any healthcare professional, and that's why I had to mention of that question. Now we've been running up here for an hour, and oh my god,
Wow, time
it's such an
flies.
interesting thing that we don't even know that time was going, and people are really enjoying the show. Genevieve said, "Kudos, Doctor Ibe." You see. And Ihwama said, "Great work, Dr. Ron."
Thank
So
you,
we have others
Ihoma.
calling you
Thank
Dr. Ron
you,
like me. And
Genevieve.
Iola said, "Great work, Doc." And I think we've gotten it. Yeah. So it's quite interesting. And once again, Thummim brought this, Thummim made this happen.
So I think I've gotten a hold of that document. So
Okay.
probably for the guide for the healthcare professionals, yeah. So probably those who want it, maybe they can send a mail to me and I'll get across to you guys then. You can send to them.
Okay, please. So to contact to me, you could see the ticking banner there. We have a phone number and the mail address there. So Dr. Ron said if you want to get a hold of the documents,
Yeah,
please contact to me and he will reach you
I'll
through
share
to
it
me.
with you
Yeah.
now. Let me
And then
just.
again, Dr. Ron, we are coming gradually to the end of this.
Oh,
But to our
okay.
visitors, you've heard from Dr. Ron, utilize any platform you have, use it to your own benefit, your
Download.
own advantage. Dr. Ron has gone on to even create a course and position himself as an expert, gained himself the nickname that I gave him as the grandmaster of social media. Because, yes, he has done that. And he has also taught many of us on how to use it effectively, how to make it make sense. So you too should also consider what is it that you know very well, what is it that you can do, and you feel you can pass the information to others. Come up, create a course, and pass that information. Position yourself as that expert. I mean, these days we make it quite easy for you. So even if you are at level zero when it comes to course creating, the mean will grab you from level zero, hands on, one on one, to whatever level you make yourself available to get at. And of course, as you're creating that course, you're not just positioning yourself as an expert like Dr. Ron, you're also opening your bank account to some blessings from another source like Dr. Ron.
Yeah,
And these are the things we always want people to get to know. Don't shy away from the social media. And even in course creating, like even if you don't want us see your face, I know you have beautiful faces. See my own fine face, see Dr. Ron's fine face. But if for some reasons you don't want us to see your face, you can still create a course without showing up your face. And it's so feasible. So when you come up, we can guide you on all these things. Look, these things are doable and you just don't have to ignore it. Almost, in fact, just think of what you can teach because we have so many of us here. We have the nurses, we have doctors, we have pharmacists, we have radiologists, and many within our community, up to 12,000. So these are people hunting for information, wanting to buy, wanting to improve themselves, to improve their career. I've created a course and I've also taken a course. So you see, it's a win-win
yeah,
situation and you get to learn every other thing. And even if you want to carry out a survey within healthcare profession, trust to me to do that because they already have the community. So you just run the survey for you and you have it set. So shortly before we leave, I'm just checking through to be sure there is no comment we are leaving untouched. And I think we've all exhausted them. So you've mesmerized your visitors today, Dr. Ron. You've given them all the answers. So just I have a final question for you.
yeah.
What is the best advice you've ever had?
Best advice. Probably do it afraid. You know, a lot of us have a lot of things they want to do. They are thinking, thinking, thinking. So just do it. There's never a perfect time or moment or condition. Just do it. It gets better once you start. You get the ball rolling. So I think that's what has been my own principle.
Okay, thank you for sharing that best advice with us because, yeah, I think many of us need it at this point to remember that. I think it was Nike that trended it, just do it. Yeah.
Just do it.
And
Yeah.
right now, Dr. Ron is also telling us, just do it afraid.
Do it
Along the line,
afraid.
you'll
Yeah.
figure those things
You
out.
figure it
So
out.
if,
Yeah.
yeah, you definitely figure it out. I can also relate to that. So if you're just joining in, or we're coming to the end of these, but permit me to quickly talk to you about Dr. Ron again and about Thummim. And about myself, I am Dr. STM. That's what I'm popularly called, but my full name is Dr. Ifnaya Stelamari Sanyang. I'm a medical doctor and a certified, internationally certified project manager and the founder of Novarus Care. And I'm also a course creator. I have 7 courses, if I'm sure. Maybe I've lost count or so. So you can see I'm not sleeping on sharing out
You're
my
the
knowledge.
experts. Yeah.
I beg, oh. So I have courses on data analysis, a course on video editing, creating PowerPoints, using Google Sheets,
Forms.
Google
Forms.
Forms to create all those things, quizzes and the rest. I have free courses too. So when you come into to me, you could see that those things that come to you easily are actually a big deal to others. So
Yeah.
that was how I started discovering that I have to keep creating, just share whatever you know and let people learn from you. And about Dr. Ron is a speaker, a writer, an author, and storyteller. He has worked as a physician and healthcare management executive within the Nigerian health sector. He earned his bachelor's degree from Madonna University. You know, your fellow alumni may be watching you at the moment.
Yeah, I
And
think
he has
so.
his master's in clinical anatomy from University of Port Harcourt and is currently studying for a second master's in health informatics. He's a published author and writes occasionally for some online blogs, and he has a weekly session on Twitter, Tales of Dr. Ron. Dr. Ron, you didn't give us the gist today again. No? So he aims to educate on various health issues through storytelling, once more, on a social media platform. So he has participated in leading advocacy for efforts for family planning on social media, which includes Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And he has coordinated many health campaigns on maternal and child health issues on social media platforms. He currently runs MRI Medical Consulting, a consulting firm focused on helping health brands tell their stories effectively and also connect seekers in the health space with jobs and support resources. So, this is your Grandmaster today in his full edifice, in his full premises, talking to us on effective use of social media for healthcare professionals and organizations, proudly brought by Thummim. Thank you for your presence here today. Thank you for staying with us for your questions. And Dr. Ron, your last word with us before we just log off.
Thank you. So, if you're a healthcare professional thinking of starting, just come and start. We'll figure it out
We'll
together
figure it
along the
out.
way. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for honoring our call to join us here today. Once more, I'm your host, Dr. STM from Thummim NG, calling to you today from Thummim NG. Do have a great night's rest and see you next time that we'll have this session here today. Thank you and bye.